It's Thursday, yes, and it's 7:30, give or take, and that means it must be time for this live shade. So, how are you? Is there anybody out there? Are you all doing well, or are you all down at Dragstalgia? Excuse me while I... Dear me, mind you, there isn't a light in the world that would make this mug look good. What's new? What's everybody up to? Or, like I say, is everybody down at Dragstalgia? And if you are, then sod you, because I'm not. Unpaid intern 2 is. He's down there crewing. Evening, Rob. You're right. He's down there crewing for one of the Supercharged Outlaws teams. And hello, Derek. You're right, matey. How's things with you? Yeah. So he's having fun down at Santa Pod, and I'm not. Although, to be fair, I was down there last week. So last weekend. So I was there for the Summer Nationals, and that was, hello, Biff, you all right, matey? Yeah, I was there for the Summer Nationals, and what a tremendous weekend that was. Bit of a crosswind. It was a bit bloody nippy at night, but what a superb event. Yes, it was all sportsman racing, but what made it doubly superb was that my friend James, the guy for whom I was crewing, ran his first 9. He'd been getting really, really close to it. I mean, he ran, was it 10.04 or something like that? Was it 10.01? Some like blink away from a 9 at Street Weekend. But even though we should have been at the alternator on the daily's gone. Oh no! Oh bloody hell! What is the daily? What? Just go in the Pontiac. Or have you still seeking the power steering pump? Well, yeah. So having come within hundredths, possibly thousandths of a second of his 9. On Saturday in qualifying, he ran a 10.0. Was it 10.00? Something absolutely preposterous. Like, we're now down to thousandths of a second away from his 9. And then in his second qualifier, he ran 9.89. Now that's a proper number and a super gas number. Which has been a long time coming, and it is a genuine street car, to the extent that, because his van, his camper van stroke race car towing rig, failed its MOT quite dramatically a few days before the event, he drove the Cortina down there. He threw all his gumph in the back there, and off he went, and I went down in the LDV van, towing the trailer tent that I bought for Street Weekend. So there's the rest of the Street Eliminator guys looking all professional with their nicely set out pits and gazebos and, you know, motorhomes and whatnot. And we show up in my mangy van towing a 50 quid trailer tent and generally bring down the house prices. And then, notwithstanding that, he goes out and runs 9.89, which is a convincing 9. And then in the third qualifier, oh right, £200 alternator, stop-start battery. Oh God, got power steering pump and oh. Tomorrow's job. Oh, so you're not going down there at all? Are you? Oh, well, you're not going down to Dragstalgia at all? Okay. Well, why don't you just go down in the Firebird and you know, sleep under the stars, keep in a tent. Not much to recommend it. Yeah, in the third qualifier, he ran another 10.0, and me and Womble and Kieran, the rest of the crew, were also like slightly disappointed. And yet, yes, it really wasn't that long ago. In fact, sort of like this time last year, the very thought of the Cortina running a 10.0 would have caused much bashing of the purple-headed Flemflinger. But there we go. So, and then in E1 on Sunday morning, He ran another 9.9, but he was up against Mark Sheridan in round 1. I mean, you must have seen that absolutely achingly beautiful Cuda of his, 71 Cuda. 1 year ago it was broken with no engine. Well, okay. But yes, that Barracuda, he's just eye-wateringly gorgeous. And so far Mark has been sort of struggling. I'd say struggling, still running the bloody numbers, but he hasn't been doing the starts you'd expect of that car. He hasn't been doing the launches you'd expect with that car. Well, yes, 11.4. So you've come a long way, matey. I mean, that car it should be doing Pro Mod launches, but he's always been taking it really gently. And then, so, driving it off the line and then crossing the line at over 200 miles an hour. And he still did that a little bit on this run against James, except he ended up running a 7.4. And I think that was 200 miles an hour. Yes, 200 miles an hour on a 7.4. But I mean, 200 mile an hour is a high 6 ET. So there's more to come from that. When all those ducks finally get in a row, Mark is going to make jaws drop. I mean, not that the thing hasn't already, because it is, like I say, A, gorgeous, and B, bloody quick, and C, completed the cruise with no problems. Streetcar. So yes, all in all, a fantastic weekend. Happy days. The next round of Street Eliminator is, it's not this weekend because it's Trextalder, it's not the following weekend, it's the weekend after that, which is Bug Jam. And I've only ever been to one Bug Jam, and that event really, really puzzles me. I mean, for a start, if you look on Santapod's Facebook and other social media platforms, they're saying Carl Cox is going to be at the Bug Jam. And is everybody excited that he might be bringing his Pro Mod? No, they're excited that he's going to play some records. Pro Mod, come on. No, he's going to do a DJ set. And that's what everybody's bashing the two-handed fanny mallet about. No, Pro Mod, come on. Anyway, that's... Oh, it does, however, highlight that if you want to make enough money to run a Pro Mod, be a superstar DJ. But there we go. I'm not bitter. Nor is this, sadly. So, Carl Cox is us. I wouldn't be able to pick him out of a lineup, to be honest. But, yeah, Pro Mod, come on, that's what you get excited about. No, and like I say, yeah, DJs don't really pop up on my radar that often. When I hear DJ, I still think of, like, Smashy and Nicey Styly. What's his name? Alan Freeman and that sort of lark. Yeah. The last DJ I remember getting excited about was Mark and Lard on Radio 1, which probably pinpoints my age fairly accurately. My chronological age, not my mental age. So what else has been going on? Now, to be somber for a moment, of course, last Friday was the funeral for Sandra Lee Wood, nee Sandra Lee Hughes. Really, really tragic circumstance, but there was a good old big into cars, that family, and I was glad to see, because I wasn't able to get there. I was at work, couldn't take the time off, and I was glad to see that many, many people turned out for it, and there were lots of cars in evidence, including you, Derek, as I recall. So yes, that was nice to see. But Jim started out brilliant. Music festival with... Well, that's it, yeah. What you said there is pretty much bang on correct. the impression that I got was that the cars were incidental, and the drag strip was peripheral, and a lot of the attendees there, you thought, if you'd pointed out to them that there was a drag strip just there, they'd have been really surprised. Not everybody, obviously, but yeah, a lot of people. The whole car scene thing was really incidental to the main weekend's business of getting shit-faced, really. But hey, dear me. So there we go. However, we have a Street Eliminator and a good few other classes, obviously the Volkswagen classes, running at Bug Jam. One guy who fits into both categories is Rob Carter, and yeah, that little Passat is in 2019 at Bug Jam. I had to listen to some metal on YouTube to read. Absolutely. Bug Jam 1 in 87, so there you go. Biff went to Bug Jam 1. Don't mention fecking Volkswagens today. Well, quite. And yeah, 200 and odd quid for a battery. No. That's crazy money. And to be honest, I haven't done a fat lot on any cars other than that. But yeah, I can't be doing with the dance music lark. I'm sorry, I'm just an old git. Well, there we go. Well, in the case of your Volkswagen, no, it's buggered jam, really, isn't it? So, all of you watching, let's face it, if everybody watching this right now was to go to the pub, they could share a taxi. Yes, if anybody out there is doing anything interesting and car related, please do tell. That's one thing though I was going to mention is the band on Saturday night at Santa Pod weren't up in sort of Fueller's Bar, or because it's not exactly a big spectator draw, this event, a Nationals Championship event. So the band was on in the pits, and it was a band called Woodburnt Red. They were bloody good. They do have a YouTube channel, which you can go on. There's a couple of their tunes on there, properly recorded and whatnot, that are well worth a listen. Not exactly the most up-tempo stuff, but still bloody worth a listen. They are really, really good. What else in other news? Yes, as I mentioned in the email shot that I sent out, Street Weekend was awesome. Subscribe to Sick Mag and it's brilliant. Do you know what? I've still yet to read a copy of Sick Magazine. James had a copy at Street Weekend, and he said, "Oh, have you had a look at this?" And I was like, "Wow, that's bloody hell, that's a magazine." This is some quality shizzle. And I had a very 10-second flick through, and I was like, "Right, I'll have a read of that later." Later never came. But that was the first time I'd ever picked up a copy of Sick Magazine, and I still have not read one. However, everything I've heard about it says, "Hello, mate, are you all right, mate? How's it going with you?" What were you doing recently, Mike? Oh, no, I was going to say, are you booked in for that Mustang Day later this month? Because, that is later this month, isn't it? There's sort of Mustang Owners Club Day at Santa Pod. That should be good. Sadly, I won't be going. In fact, as Nigel said, Street Weekend was awesome. It really was. It took a week for that buzz to subside. But I still haven't changed I still haven't put a new tyre on the front of the Fox. It's still running on that mangy old Space Saver. Oh, well, I say running, it hasn't been anywhere since the end of Street Week. It is Mustang Nationals on the 14th. There you go, Mustang Nationals. I should have known that. Hello, Rally Rodder. How are you doing? Yeah, I know there's quite a few signed up for that. Should be fun. Local vintage rally in the vet. Oh, you won a cup. participants mug. Oh, well, there you go. Participants mug, there you go. I've got my participants mug from the Super Nationals a couple of years ago. And it's got coffee in it. Beat that, Biff. So, yeah, even so, winning a cup, winning a mug at the local vintage rally, that's quite cool. And at least you've been somewhere. Hello, Jerry. How are you doing, matey? What's new? And yeah, there's a man who's always got some intriguing projects on the go. What you got on at the minute? In fact, it's been a while since I've spoke to you. There you go. Anybody got any spare 2.8 3-litre Capri rear brakes? Drums, you know, just standard Capri brakes? If so, shout at James, please. Anybody doing an upgrade to discs or something and want to get rid of the old drums? He's your man. Beat that. My glass has gin in it. Oh, well, mine's got orange juice and lemonade in. You're all right, you win. And I should imagine do Sierra rears fit? I don't know. There you go. If anybody can answer that one, do Sierra rear drums fit on a Capri axle? And failing that, does anybody? Like I say, I've got some Fox brakes somewhere. I don't know whether they'll just transfer over. But the thing is, they are quite wide. Like I say, 1 3/4 inches. Or that in man measurements. That's about 1 3/4 inches. No, so 1 3/4 wide shoes. So I don't know what width the Capri or Sierra shoes are. But yeah, if you want to give them a try, I don't doubt I could wrestle a setup. It's 2 inches. Wow, so the Capri 2.8 had bigger drums than the bloody 5-litre V8 Fox. Entered Melbourne's bracket 50-50, slowest car in the class. Really? Wow. What else is in that class then? And actually, talking of bracket racing, has anybody else noticed that the Nostalgia Superstock class this weekend at Dragstalgia, 72 cars? What? That's got to be the biggest of any class that's running quite some time. I mean, I know, you know, Sportsman ET and Pro ET have some big classes, but 70 odd cars. And what they're going to do, run a 64 car ladder with 8 bump spots. That is bonkers. Well done to them. But I mean, I think that says a lot of good stuff about the scene in general when you've got that many people wanting to take part in, well, it is, after all, not a cheap hobby. And in the middle of a cost of living crisis, people still want to enjoy themselves and enjoy their cars, which is brilliant. Witness Street Weekend. I know, let's spend the weekend burning as much petrol as possible and enjoying ourselves. Yes, good. And people did. They really did. And it was tremendous to see. Talking of which, Nigel, are you going to be entering next year on your own, in your own vehicle, or? I mean, you don't want to be sharing a Fox with Nick all the time, do you? Yeah, I should imagine that was quite fun. Where was I going with that? I don't know. But anyway, hello, Ken. How you doing, matey? I was just making a reference to Street Weekend and just talking about how many cars are entered in the Nostalgia Superstock at the pod this weekend. 72 cars. I suppose the class that beats that was Street Weekend, but that was Strictly Run What You Brung, or a bed. But no, I suppose you wouldn't want to share one of them with him either, but there we go. I'm hoping that Santa Pod will stream Dragstalgia. I would imagine they would. The John Willard with the Aussie Outlaw, the Anglia that the other day, just rolled off the trailer and put in a quick test pass just to check out the track, and bust all our records on his little gentle test pass. He had a magneto failure, and I believe he has found a replacement, or he has been supplied with a replacement. Hurrah, happy days. So let's believe he'll be out and running this weekend. Flav Ewell, Huxley's, Dales, Cortinas. Oh, right, okay. So I take it there's more than one class. Is it like the old Street and Pro? I hope to do Street Weekend next year. Possibly not the Firebird. Ooh, that's gnomic. Come on, don't tease me. Don't keep me in suspenders. What? Oh, bugger off, Morris. No, you know what I mean. Side by side, 6-second pops. What's not to like? What's not to like is the fact that I'm not there. Other than that, there is nothing not to like. And all I can imagine is like Nick and Gasket and all the other showers sat on the banking all weekend with a crate of ale, enjoying the show. I'm entering next year 100%. Fantastic, Ken. In what, the Daily Driver, or you got something else in mind? Again, don't keep me in suspenders. I've told you, bugger off. Bloody hell, Morris. There we go. Yes, and because that is last weekend was far and away the most interesting thing that's happened to me since Street Weekend. I've kind of got nothing else to talk about, so I really hope you guys have. And I don't think they've... Oh, no idea. Might do a 1K challenge or something. That, I think, should be a class in Street Weekend. I noticed the guy whose name escapes me, who had that little sort of Spartan Trekker, the mini bass thing, that looked like it was made out of plywood, and possibly was, participated in Kit Car Magazine's £500 challenge. Now, that was some time ago. And kind of been ruined by the fact that most cars these days are not far off £500 in scrap value. But, yeah, I think a £1,000 challenge would be a bloody good class. I mean, I've also, oh, believe me, I've had various ideas. I have a very large beer mat with ideas sketched on the back of it for a sort of a street week type event. I don't have the time, the money, or the mental bus fare to put it together, but oh God, you could do some intriguing stuff. And I think a sub £1,000 class is a goer. The only thing is, for most multidiscipline car events, you know it's going to be rammed with MX-5s. And I have absolutely nothing against MX-5s, but not a whole field of them. I need to think of a different prize to fund too. Reactions didn't work out. Yeah, that's a shame. Damn good idea. But yes, it never occurred to me that Melbourne don't do that. I think it used to be the case that they could either give you data for reaction time or 60 foot, not both. And as most people are trying to dial into the whole no prep thing, they'd rather have the 60 foot. So that's what you get. I could be wrong. Please prove me wrong. But intriguing. I'm just looking here at my camera, from which I still haven't downloaded all the Street Weekend footage. This camera is looking distinctly worse for wear, actually. Which I'm not surprised. It's been dropped and battered around quite a lot. There's the crack they made on the first day I took this thing out of the box. Could have still done R2 with just pod data. I suppose so, but yeah, you don't know. Even with nobody achieved it. Nobody achieved a 0.0 reaction. That does surprise me, because some of those guys are pretty on the ball. And as for what this white crusty stuff is in the battery compartment, I'll yet be knowing, and possibly don't want to ask. But there we go. I mean, I had such a good weekend at Santa Pod last weekend. That bloody camera never left the van. It didn't get used in the van either. Don't read too much into that. But there you go. You did, and then you did your 0.0 reactions, and then having not entered the reaction sweeps, and then Elliot came along and diddled everybody. I'm just glad it went to Scott. Yes, yeah. Has anybody heard from Scott Lineker recently? How did he get on? Did he make it home? I don't even know. So that could be fun. Yes, plans for next year's Street Week. I don't want to buttonhole the Santa Pod guys about it yet, because I figure, they've got enough on. Yes, Street Weekend was a big deal, but they've got a lot of big. Well, right now it's Dragstalgia. A couple of weeks' time, it's Bug Jam, Mopar Nats, Ultimate Streetcar, all that lark. They're probably not devoting too much mental runtime to something that may or may not happen in 11 months' time. My last reaction Street Weekend was over a toll second. Wow, did my best to eat it. Well, that's the thing. Nobody was looking at reaction times. He's writing a bit for the mag feature. He's a lot more awake. Oh, good stuff, good stuff. I hope they have it again next year. I'll be surprised if they didn't, because I think it was such a runaway success. Hey, how you doing? You all right? I think it's such a runaway success this year that I would be surprised if it didn't make a reappearance next year. Plus, I think there's a lot of people who would kick off mightily. Full not to... right, okay. Not to worry. Thanks again for the Sick Week Mags. Made me subscribe. Yes. It was... apparently, I was told they were handing them out. Well, there were some available at EDA, and I didn't know about it, and I saw my ass. Well, I saw my ass, but I didn't see a magazine. But there we go. So, this is the one thing. Who is King B? I'm glad to have you along, but this is the only thing where people use handles rather than names. Dates are to be released around November, December. Well, they normally publish the calendar fairly early doors anyway. I say fairly early, that November is fairly early doors. In fact, I think they have their normally when you go to the Euro finals at the beginning of September, they have in the programme, which is a mighty tome in itself, it's not far off bloody Sick magazine, the programme for the Euro finals. They normally have a précis of some of the big dates for the following year in that. You want the ones I've read, Dave? Let me know. Oh, nice one. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I wouldn't mind a gander, yes. Although, like I say, I believe James has some, which I wouldn't mind copying a BDI over. So, yeah, I think, well, as I say, the big events are normally published September-ish. That is the big event, the FIA events, main event, Eurofinals, things like Dragstalgia, Ultimate Streetcar, yada yada. I left a load of boxes of mags. Yeah, I know, and I didn't take them to Flood Jam. Nice one. Well, there you go. I'll get to have a gander at some now anyway. Crikey. Still got Death Week and Drag Week to look forward to. Oh, yeah, well, what's the one that's running right now? Is it Rocky Mountain Race? No, was that last week? Rocky Mountain Race Week. I lose track. And I daren't follow them on YouTube because, like I say, that's a rabbit hole I cannot afford to go down, because if I start watching the coverage, that's it. I may as well write the rest of the day off. HRG lot had 4 boxes. Did they? Bloody hell. Nobody mentioned this to me. Oh, well. Hey. Street Week. Well, Street Week Sweden is next week, isn't it? And again, Street Week Sweden starts on Saturday. Yes. Well, like I say, when he left Santa Pod on Sunday night, he was heading for Harwich Docks. And he was going to be there in plenty of time. I say plenty of time, like days early. And yeah, as I understood it, he plans to do Swedish Street Week, get back on the boat, come back, and go to Bug Jam. And again, I wish I was wearing a hat, because it would be right off to him for that. Rocky Mountain Race Week just finished. Yes, Midwest Drag start next week. Yeah, there you go. I mean, this is mental. They have all sorts. Yes, the Drag and Drive thing is the hot ticket at the minute. I'm chatting with Al today. It's been raining. Oh no, I'm inj. Oh, that's a shame. But yeah, it is mighty hot at the minute. And well, I say mighty hot at the minute. It's been hot for years. It's been. I mean, when did bloody Hot Rod Drag Week start? And I think that's what laid the groundwork for a lot of these events. And it's a damn good idea. It really is. It's a proper test. I mean, everybody says that Drag Week is hard work. And, you know, even if your car is perfectly reliable and does exactly what you want it to do every single time, it's still hard work. And, you know, lots and lots of road miles, lots and lots of racing, often in, you know, high temperatures, and a couple of hours sleep a night, and so on and so forth. Drag Week to be lower than usual attendance this year. I thought it had still sort of sold out. I thought all the entries had gone. But why do you expect this, Ken? But yeah, my back of the big old beer mat ideas thing, my idea for a week was a lot less grueling and allowed more time for beer. Because, you know, I don't want to. A, I couldn't do it anyway. But B, do you really want to book a whole week off work in order to work? No, I think a week's event that allows a little more scope for chilling is, yeah, I think that's the way to go. Which is not to say that I wouldn't love to do Drag Week, but there we go. I suspect I would be an absolutely unapproachably grumpy old bastard within, well, let's say by Tuesday lunchtime, due to lack of sleep. After seeing Rocky Mountain last week, there were a fair few regulars not there. I think Hot Rod Drag Week will look very different too. Okay. Yeah, absolutely right. I like the fact that Sick Week, the quickest car was Swedish. Absolutely. Was that the Corvette? And yeah, or was it the Corvette or was it the S10? I can't remember, but either way, yes. Again, that says a volume about the Swedes. The forgotten parent of Drag and Drive. You are right, absolutely. And if anything, I think, do you remember when we used to do that show up in Scotland? I mean, there was that time, that show up in Scotland. Was it Kyle? And then, was it Kyle or somewhere else? And then people took a week to drive from there to the NASC Nats Essex. And Swedish owned, powered by Brit-built engine. Who built the engine then? When you say a Brit-built, is that Stefan? Anyway, pod shaky at the final round. Yes, that's Eglinton. That's it. Yes, Kyla Eglinton. That's it. And that was, well, that was from one show to another. Stefan Rossi, who used to live down this neck of the woods. He emigrated not long ago. Oh yeah, Sky. No, I never did Sky. In fact, I never did the whole NSCC Power Tour thing. Power Tour, you see, another title nicked from Hot Rod magazine. S10 engine now back in Sweden in a Camaro. Yes, I think I saw that. And that Camaro is out for Street Week Sweden next week, isn't it? But yeah, we used to do a lot. We've turned into feckin' Silver Black. A lot of miles. And it's kind of went off the boil a lot. A lot of things went off the boil But it seems to be coming back, and now people seem to be quite keen on doing the miles again, which is no bad thing. Hopefully Michael wants to be there and win it. Good man, good man. Did Carl come back to the Nats 20 odd years ago with a Roadrunner? Bloody, oh yeah, I remember that Roadrunner. What gears did it have in the back, Nigel? Tony Higgs and the Capri aiming to be out at Bug Jam. Is he? Is he really? Because I thought he had just trashed everything from the head gaskets down. In fact, I thought, yeah, wasn't he absolutely amazed to have got away without damage to the heads? The brand new heads. But, yeah, I mean, that is, oh, my heart bled for poor old Tony. But yeah, I thought he was going to have to buy everything from the head gaskets to the sump plug, and didn't even knacker the camshaft. 410s and a 3800 RPM converter, just what you need for a nice long motorway journey. But you see, 20 years ago, you didn't think twice about that, did you? 78, I thought. It wasn't supposed to be 78. But apparently there was two wires or two commands in the ECU that had been reversed. So when it hit 14 psi, instead of opening the wastegate, it shut it. And it got to 78 psi before something let go. And I think he said it went from 14 to 78 psi in just over a second. Probably about the same, about 2 or 3 times as long as it took his arsehole to slam shut. Because I think I would. But then it finished the race, turned around and drove back down the return road to the pits. Wow. It'd be great if he's out. It seems he's lucky, if that's the right word. If there's one word I wouldn't apply to Tony, it's lucky. He's lucky in that he's had some major catastrophes and has walked away from them, but drove up to Stornoway for the Saturday night drags a few years ago, nearly the same distance as... Whoa, bloody hell, really? Crikey, Riley. 18 years ago I finished paying the visa bill. Yeah. Like I said, there in his street. But, yeah, as you said, there's nothing stopping the Brits going and entering Swedish Street Week. It has been shown before that there isn't anything stopping the Brits going and entering Hot Rod Drag Week. And as we saw again this year at Street Weekend, there was those Swedish guys just hopped in their big block turbo El Camino and drove over, just to see what it was like, see if it was worth getting their mates along next year. They were the vanguard, and great. This sort of, hello Graham, how you doing? You all right? How's Dragstalgia? Well, I suppose, has anything happened today, or is today just set-up day? But yeah, there's nothing stopping anybody going anywhere. Brexit be buggered. Well, does that mean you're in the Midlands? The Midlands of Scotland. But yeah, it's all. So please give me feedback. Would you attend a Drag and Drive weekend? Purely for fun as a social, no prizes, just a laugh. I think we'd all say yes, but we're a competitive bunch, and I think there would need to be a bit of a... It couldn't be just a sort of and everybody's a winner because we all participated. No, everybody's most people are too competitive for that. We'd need to know who won. But a Drag and Drive weekend purely for fun as a social is, like I say, I think it's something that everybody would agree to, but unless they knew who won. I don't know. I mean, I'd be delighted to be proven wrong. Like I say, my beer mat idea took in a whole week. and even with penciled in swag figures, swag being scientific wild ass guess figures, it will be hundreds and hundreds of pounds to enter. But like I say, it would still involve. It wouldn't involve breaking camp every night. Let's put it like that. Much of it would be from a central venue, a central sort of staging point, and then you go here, and then you go there, and then you go there, and yeah. But it doesn't really matter, does it, if it's not going to happen. Graham says set-up day, but bar is now open. Oh, this surprises me not one jot. I should imagine that for many people, the bar was open from brunch time, and even if it's the bar they've brought themselves. I mean, looking for big American station wagons you could race and then sleep in it. Yes. Now, I mean, oh golly gosh, Pete Lane. Is it Pete? Yes, Pete Lane. There's a piece about his wagon on the HRG YouTube channel here. You want to check that out. It's a late 70s Mercury Colony Park. And it's bloody huge. And it's one of the proper, Wagon Queen family truckster type wagons. Yeah, you could sleep in that. You could fit bunk beds in it. And it runs the numbers as well, because it's got a mighty motor in it. So yes, I think that could be. Well, what the Swedes did was they had the El Camino with a sort of a truck, well, like a truckman top on it, but it was a very low profile truckman top that kind of followed the line of the cab roof. So, if you sat up in a hurry, you were going to nut fiberglass. But that worked as street weekend accommodation for those guys, and quick but funny to watch. Some of them are quick. I mean, some guys running those bloody great big sort of like Chevy Caprice stroke Buick Roadmaster wagons, and hoisting the front wheels a foot in the air would suggest that they are quite rapid. Well, look at the Hales in Street Eliminator. If they can make that bloody great big ex-dually crew cab Chevy pick up its skirts and bogey down into the low tens, then there's plenty of kipping room in the back of that. But yeah, there you go. That's the best compromise I think you could wish for. Possibly fuel economy may suffer, but there we go. If you're worried about fuel economy, you're in the wrong place. Yeah. There we go. So, I'm kind of running out of things to say here. So if anybody else has anything to chip in, please do so. Otherwise, I shall go and eat my dinner. So what you're up to, what you're going to be up to, is anybody else heading for Dragstalgia? And it looks like there are some really good things on the bill. Has everybody seen that Brian Whitfield and Ian Tubb altered that they've just uncovered? Oh, sweet baby Jesus, Mary Joseph, and the bastard donkey too. What a machine. That looks the absolute business. And if that doesn't get a standing ovation from the people at Dragstalgia, I do not know what will. And what else is happening? Oh yeah, they got Commuter and Tudor Rose together for the first time in, 40 odd years? Wow. It should be an amazing event. I wish I could be there. But hey, you can't do everything. You can't have everything. Where would you put it? Have you any headers for a 302 in your lockup? I may have factory headers, factory stainless steel headers for a Fox Mustang, which are stainless tube shorty headers, but I wouldn't have any long tube headers or anything like that. think the Aussies had a Malibu a few years back, Hot Rod Gazette, it was 10-second go. Quite possibly, yes. I think it was faster than that, though. So I thought, Steve, something to race and Kipping, yes. Only 6 weeks to Woodward Dream Cruise. Ah, yes. Now, you're visiting family at the time, aren't you, Biff? Oh, and of course, yeah, Graham Sykes has took that Force of Nature bike to Dragstalgia. So that should be a groovy thing. That should open a few eyes as well. He's been getting some column inches in the news and whatnot this week, hasn't he? Deservedly so. But like I say, I think when people read the headline, steam-powered bike, they're thinking of some comical Victorian, steampunk thing, not a land speed record-setting thing. Yes, I believe he is running over the full quarter. Be interesting to see what that thing tops out at, because I suppose he is still accelerating as he goes through the 8th, isn't he? It's not, obviously it's not geared or anything, so I wonder at what point he'll back out of it. Want to do Woodward next year? Yes, I mean, that's another of those events that I think will spoil you for any UK event in the future. Well, got to be 200 plus, quite possibly. As a rule, bikes don't do it for... You know what? I'm the same. And it always used to be a standing joke, which wasn't funny, that you knew when the motorbike classes were running at Shaky because everybody would bugger off for a wee or to the pie shop or get a burger. And it's weird because the engineering that goes into them is out of this world, and the cojones on the riders, incredible. And you look at Top Fuel funny bikes and you think, right, you are lying sort of basically full length over a tank full of highly explosive fuel and an engine which you are submitting to the sort of stress that would probably launch it into the upper atmosphere. You've got your feet in the air to balance the bike, which means that most of your weight is resting on your conkers, on that hardly thickly padded seat. And yet, I think I'll just go to the bog. What is it? Yeah. Craziness. Very peculiar. Yes. I mean, let's face it, it takes a peculiar mentality to do that sort of speed in a car with a bloody great big steel cage around you. Never mind on something you can fall off of. Or it may just go bang and launch. You're basically lying on a claymore. And no. Crackers. And yet, it just doesn't... Stephen Bailey. Yes. It just doesn't do it for me. But hey-ho. Yes, however, like I say, Graham Sykes is Force of Nature, someone else again. So, Detroit, Rock City. Right, well, I didn't have much rubbish to talk about to begin with, and I've managed to stretch that out for this long. Sock Power Cruise show as well. Sick Power Cruise. Oh, is that on at the same time? Same place? Cool. That is a new BMW M series little thing. Pop fart. And I don't know what sort of gearbox it's got, whether it's got one of them twin clutch things or a paddle shift or what, but it just sounds so weird. It doesn't do the sort of rev change. It sort of goes rip pop, rip pop, rip pop. It sounds weird, and I don't like it. And then it goes pop, pop, pop on the overrun, and that's just crap. The only vehicle that ever sounded good going pop, pop, fart on the overrun was a Morris Minor, which had the most charmingly flatulent exhaust note on the overrun. And that's cool. Yes, it does. And it's weird to think that there is a city that just welcomes automotive, welcomes horsepower and noisy cars and automotive hooligans, and says, yes, come to our city, enjoy it. And well, I suppose it's the same for a place like Sturgis. What's Sturgis got going for it apart from the bike rally? I don't know. But yes, that BMW sounds weird. It's probably incredibly fast. Are you bringing the Blue Meanie? Yes, I'd like to think that I am. I'd like to think that I didn't go to all that mither in order to do street weekend and then park it back under that fecking tree again. Which, incidentally, is where it is. It's back under that tree. Except I believe it may be a cherry tree, because now the pigeon shit has a cherry pip in the middle of it. And yeah, so instead of just having to, you have to go along with a sort of miniature snooker cue and pop the cherry pips off the middle of the bird shit, then wash the bird shit off. Which mine did backfire, well, yes. But yeah, I don't like to think that it's just going to stay there for the rest of the year. That would be worse than last year. But hey ho, we shall find out. To be frank, I'm still paying off street weekend. Well, best ET 12.9. That was with me just about getting the hang of the new tyres which Nick Gunby kindly gave me, which haven't got much life left in them. But yeah, the old street tyres are bloody useless. These Hoosiers did hook quite hard. In fact, that's what caught me out at Santa Pod, because they hooked quite hard. So hard, in fact, that when I launched, instead of just seeing, oh God, how hard are the wheels spinning, when I launched, it hooked and my head went, bleh, and I took my foot off the throttle. Oh dear. Maybe Melbourne in August. Yes, maybe, because August is a strangely dead month. It's midsummer. Well, it's summer. The kids are off school, and yet, when you think of how busy June and July has been, and May, and then August is sort of like a bit slack. And I mean, I suppose most of us still think that August is, you blinkered towards the end of August for the NASC Street Rod Nationals, which of course hasn't happened for a number of years now. But yeah, it seems to be quiet. When you'd think that people will be capitalising on it all over. It's the weekend after the Mopars, which is the weekend after... Yes, so it's basically the first weekend in August, isn't it? And I am... Am I on factory shutdown? I think I am. Hurrah. Oh, that's it. Of course, there's the... It's written on the bloody mug in front of me. It's the NSRA Super Nationals. Is the biggest draw in August at the moment. And one thing, I tell you what, for anybody up in the northwest, a show that I believe first happened last year. When the Bernie's V8's tour hits Alton Park, they have a bit of a sort of a pseudo speed fest going on, sort of like an American car day. I can't remember off the top of my head what day it is, but a couple of people who went last year said, bloody good. Melbourne, then Clonbedda, then Mopars, then Melbourne. Bloody hell, you're getting about. And as for that Clonbedda, yes, I've been there. And, oh boy, did that place make the cogs turn. If it wasn't for the fact that it's in the middle of fucking nowhere. Yes. Believe me. That's another thing that's been exercising the old grey matter before I have to put it back in its sponge bag. And anyway, yes. You entered for Street Eliminator at the Mopars. He was certainly talking about it. Well, there be another new HRG t-shirt and or stickers this year? Will there be another new HRG? Which I'm still working on, but like I say, with week spare time during the week being at a premium, and weekends trying to catch up on some of the car backlog, and then going to Santa Pod and whatnot, it's not getting done. So I'm thinking that t-shirts and stickers, I mean the website, I've done dick on the website, which is tragic, and a crying waste. After my friend Ed made this lovely website for me, and he's just waiting for me to, do my 10% of the work, and I've absolutely failed to do so. It'll happen. Not today, probably not tomorrow, but something will happen. Good God. Dear me. So yes, I'm thinking I ought to actually do some Hot Rod Gazette before trying to do the merchandise from it. Reported. Oh, please do, yes. And you need an assistant. I do, yes. Well, what I need, and believe me, I've had volunteers, is somebody standing behind me with a cattle prod saying, stop dicking around, get something done. Dzzt. Yes, I need. What did you call that bloke who with the big drum who stood at the front of the slaves galley in the ships? Anyway, that's what I need. Yes. Cocks. Yes, that's what I need. Cocks. Morris, put it away. Sweet Jesus. So yes, the coxswain. Any road. Quite enough of the pathetic double entendres. I will bugger off. Next week, Friday. It'll be Friday because I'm on a late shift. So Friday evenings, a week tomorrow, right here, probably. Carl Coxon. That's it. He can play some records and I can try and keep up. Or he can drive his Pro Mod and I can try and keep up. So, but like I say, bear in mind, October 21st will be the Kenny's Bar reunion. Now, there are still a few details to iron out. And obviously, it won't be shaky. There isn't a shaky at shaky. But the Kenny's Bar shaky reunion, which will be this part of the world in Staffordshire. More details as soon as I've actually sort of signed them. When are we hearing about this shaky save the date thing? Right now, as it happens. So yes, like obviously I'll be shouting and blarting about it big time once I've got everything written down in pen rather than in erasable crayon, which is what it is now. So yeah, 21st of October. Details to come. It'll be a good evening. I should imagine it will be, well, it'll be a piss up. Anybody who remembers Kenny's Bar will know the script. So, details to follow. In the meantime, I'm going to cock off and have my dinner. So, thank you ever so much for coming along. All you people who are at Dragstalgia, have a fantastic time. I can't see how you cannot. I really hope the rain stays away and that you have a whale of a time. Everybody else, whatever you're doing this weekend, have a lot of fun, stay safe. And yes, I will see you all a week tomorrow. Thank you very much and good night.